Well, today we're doing something special. We're playing the demo to Sandland. This is the latest work of the late great Akira Toriyama. This is the last thing he was creating content for.
Um, I think more so for yeah for this and the anime adaptation, which recently released on Disney Plus.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, let's talk about what this is about, I guess. I mean, Bradshaw, you had the chance to read the entire thing,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
So tell us about our characters here that we're, I guess, playing with, but maybe talk a little bit about the story and why it's in this desert.
Yeah. So you live in Sandland. Water is a valuable resource, and the only person that has direct access to it is their king, and he sells it for exorbitant amount of money to people that people just can't afford. Um, the human character whose name escapes me, um, he is uh, basically he comes to the demons um, to ask for help because he heard of a uh, a
Is Rao?
yep, there you go, a hidden lake um, that that he assumes is where the guy is getting the water from, or a secret that they're keeping. Um, and Yeah, so he recruits Beelzebub, who is the this guy here, who is the Prince of Demons. Um, his dad is the Big Daddy Satan, um, Big Daddy Devil. And then the other demon with him is Thief, who is, as his name describes, he's an old man, but he's good at thieving. Um, and they basically set out to find this hidden lake to give people water, essentially. And he promises the demons access to the water as well. Um, and through the story, you have them, stealing a tank, coming into conflict with the government, um, and their officials, and there's a bunch of twists and turns in the story regarding the hidden lake and what the king's like actual acts like water supply is, and like all this stuff. Because like in the Sandland, they're like it's illegal to have like airplanes. Like they're not allowed to fly airplanes at all.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but it's very fun. Um, there's the tank right there. Um, and yeah, it's super cool. Beelzebub's a really fun character. Um, Real, just kind of upfront. Thief is funny because he's just this excited old man, easily perturbed, but also excitable. Like when he gets to drive the tank and stuff.
How
Um,
does it? I just
yeah,
want to
it's
ask really quick about the
yeah.
game here that Tyler's playing.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel to drive the tank? Like, is it actually tanky kind of controls, or
Yeah, so like if you press up, you'll drive forward, but if you like turn your whole body around and you press up, you can still steer it like it's going forward. So
sure? Yep, yep.
it's pretty nice. It feels
Is it?
good.
It feels maneuverable and kind of like zippy, I imagine.
Yeah, very zippy. It's not really sluggish. What's really cool is that I don't know if they talk about it in the manga or the anime or in any media or about it, but you can customize these vehicles. So, like, if I go to the tank here, it's called the battle tank.
Exclusive to the game.
Um, okay, so
Exclusive to the game.
Yeah, it's nothing they cover. Like they don't like customize it or anything in the story. So,
Oh, I thought you meant like this tank specifically was just
oh
like
no,
something. Okay,
I'm sure that you can upgrade it to different things. Like you can see on the right there, there's rare and probably like common and legendary applications, kind of like any game. But you can like change pretty much everything, and they all have like cooldowns and things like that. and then the bottom right kind of shows your HP and your defense and things like that. And there's a lot of customizability here, and it
So
changes. You can I think you can even change the color of your tank eventually.
I wouldn't be
Um,
surprised.
but yeah, it gives you a lot of versatility with all these vehicles, and they only give you three in this demo. Um, but yeah, you can customize a lot of different stuff. Put different guns on the front there, different like a shotgun on top. Um, travel beacon. That's a fast
I would
travel
love to
to different
see.
parts of the
I would
map.
love to see both of these, the motorbike and the battle armor, in action because they like those two vehicles are very Toriyama to me.
Sure.
The
yeah,
design of them,
if
at least.
you know Toriyama, he's massive fan of vehicles and drawing
Hmm.
vehicles.
Hmm.
So the
Here,
bike is something
this
that
is a
really zips around because you can boost
Man,
through the desert here.
I swear that bike's in Dragon Ball, like
I think
or something similar.
Bulma might drive something
Yeah.
similar.
Um.
Visually, this looks really, really good. Like, I think
Yeah.
whether this is like technically sprite based or whatever, like all the characters and vehicles and everything really like they pop and they're distinct and everything just looks very nice and definitely well translated from Toriyama's designs. Nothing's lost there.
Here's a little quote from Toriyama about Sandland. It's in the first page of the manga. He says, I'm sure this is meant humorously too. He says this was supposed to be a short, simple manga about an old man in a tank, which I made for my own personal enjoyment. But the tank was harder to draw than I expected, and I stubbornly insisted on drawing it all myself. So I came to regret ever getting involved with it. But the story was already plotted out to the end, so I couldn't change anything, and I went through hell drawing the whole thing. Akira Toriyama, 2000.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
So he
I
just
mean,
wanted to make a show or a thing about a tank.
Yep.
way, yeah, way to have
And he didn't
dedication
want to
to.
use, like a lot of mangaka, they use assistants, right?
Mhm.
To do, backgrounds or do a bunch of stuff like that. And he's just like, no, I'm doing this all myself. He just got himself into it, was like, well, shit.
When you were, I know we talked about it previously, but it didn't really strike me then. But when you were talking about the overall structure and plot of Sandland here, it
Yeah.
reminds me. Or I can see how maybe Sandland served as a inspiration for Oda to create One Piece
I can see that.
because there's a lot
I
of
think it,
similarities with like a harsh, inhospitable setting, like a secret
uh,
treasure or lake or trove of some resource, and this like
I want to say it
ragtag
came
group.
out either simultaneously or like just after maybe One Piece.
Really,
Um, yeah,
I didn't know the
Sandland.
timing was that close. I thought it was like a couple more years removed from that, maybe like even
Sandland
five
was
more.
May to August of 2000, and then One Piece. I think it was 97 actually. Let me see.
Ah, okay.
One Piece. No. Yeah, July 1997. So just a couple years apart.
So you can see the
This
mech
looks
here.
fun.
The mech is very it's versatile, but I think when you fight enemies, it gives you more punch.
Yeah, you're
Mhm.
slower moving, but like harder hitting with the big punchies.
And then you can change to like a yeah. I'm shooting with my wrist there. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm shooting
Yes, I
like a
can.
okay. And you can switch it up. You can have
You got your big cannons on the shoulders, like the gun cannon.
yeah, big cannon shot here. Just take dudes out.
My God, you just shot a cannon at a person on the ground.
And to talk a little bit about this one, its maneuverability is kind of cool. It's you can jump and then you can like hover,
Yeah.
and you get a little bit of a. You can see on the left there that little nitro gauge. That's like your boost.
which I'm sure you can upgrade the capacity and efficiency of, and all these
Yeah.
other aspects of. Uh, this that animation of it hovering like that reminds me of probably just like I don't know, some random robot from Dragon Ball, but the overall shape of that armor reminds me of Chrono Trigger.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It looks just like Robo.
There's definitely like a mech thing, like a red ribbon mech thing from Dragon Ball that looks just
Mm-hmm.
like that too.
Mm-hmm.
And
Um,
this game is not just a quick aside here. It's not just this open world. That's a big component of it to just explore and find different things. But you can find these ruins throughout the game.
Oh, Lick Gar, dude.
Lit guard it. Yeah. Oh yeah. I like that they expanded on a lot of things, like because it very much is like the story itself. Very much is just those three in a tank, like heading towards the thing, and then running into government dudes, and then like a couple other dudes. It's not a lot of like. There's no random like creatures they come across. There's no like other machinery that they use. Like it's very straightforward. Um, so the fact that they expanded it and used like some more Toriyama designs in there and like added some more people for you to fight and whatever is pretty cool. These ruin things like that wasn't in there. That's pretty cool.
And yeah, you can use the vehicles down here. It's like in some games they're like, oh, they limit you where you can use the vehicles, but I think you kind of problem solve with them throughout
Yeah,
the
it
ruins.
seems like in the spirit of the source, the vehicles are very much a like intrinsic part of it.
Oh yeah, it's Toriyama, man, loves vehicles.
I like in Dragon Ball when he makes like little like Frieza's little like hover pod,
Hmm.
or they'll have like a little like hover motorcycle or something like that, or like
Yep.
the time machine, how it's like a weird egg with its like spines and fit rotating fins and things.
Hmm.
Some of his mechanical designs are really intriguing,
Oh, I fell
I
down.
think we
and
talked
I've always
about
liked
it.
his airplanes too. Sorry.
Right. Oh, you're good. I think we talked about it when we were doing our Toriyama video, but like all his machinery looks sound too. Like when you look at it,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah,
a
he
lot of the things where
loves
it's like
like
it
Fiats.
looks
And
correct. Yeah, it looks correct. Like if it's like a bike or like a car or whatever, and you look at the like everything, even though it's made up, it all looks correct. You know,
Yeah, he's got
like it's a
every
working,
little bit and
functioning
piece in
vehicle.
his mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really. I can think of a couple of times that like artists like that have created just like a piece of art that's just like a large swath of a control panel of something, and it's just like,
Hmm.
oh hell yeah, dude, you
Yeah, bro.
spent time plotting out everything, all these little labels and dials and readouts.
Hmm.
yeah, that was probably one of his passions was just drawing machinery.
Yeah, loved it. Loved his little like Matchbox cars and shit. And
So yeah, I don't even know. I've never been to this ruin. I kind of left this for us to kind of explore, but
yeah,
I do think it's
I look.
interesting how he has like such a unified design theory for some stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like looking at I'm talking about specifically looking at the shape of the feet of this battle armor and
Yep.
the texture on the undersiding
Hmm.
reminds me of aspects of the Saiyan armor of like the shoulder
Right.
pads,
Yep.
and
Yep.
just like shapes, his elongated ovals. Um, like a lot of his vehicles have inherent charm to them too, and like
Right.
um, almost like whimsy to the design.
Yep. Whimsy's a good word for it. I would definitely say a lot of his aesthetic is whimsical.
And then he just fucking busts out a Shenron real quick.
Yep.
Yeah. But he also does like explosions really well. Like he like kind
Hmm.
of made that his own, like energy beams and things like that. I don't remember another anime or anything like that that was like close to those energy beams that were featured in like Dragon
No.
Ball or Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
He did
The
those
way
really good, and the explosions and like beams and just yeah.
Right.
I think that's why I prefer Dragon Ball out of any of those like Dragon Ball series, just because it has such a still like heavy dose of comedy with like um the even just the designs I'm talking about of like
Hmm.
people like Roshi and the flying Nimbus and
Yep.
Yamcha and etc. It's just like there's still it's still so comical,
Right. Yeah. It changed from like a whimsical adventure series to a fight series eventually, but
which is cool.
um, yeah. But there is definitely something for that whimsical adventure series that's just uniquely its own. Like that's one of those I would think that people should take more from than they do of just like actual Dragon Ball. A lot of them take from more from Z, but like there's definitely I mean people take some stuff, but it's more apparent with the stuff from Z that they take than Dragon Ball
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or the
Well,
genre,
it was
the
very
shonen
like
genre.
it was so emblematic of its time. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
It's like the same thing with I feel
Well, it's the
or
successful stuff, right? It's the stuff that kept it going.
yeah, it was the stuff that was successful and the stuff that got so like such prolific coverage like
Yeah.
everywhere. It was just spoofs like no like to no end. Like it was a similar in my thinking. It's a similar situation with something like Final Fantasy VII, where it was like just ubiquitously seen as like the one of
Mhm.
the like PlayStation games. You know?
That's
Right.
true. Yeah, because it was like one of like the first 3D, like right after Final Fantasy VI. You know, it wasn't
Hmm.
all polygons and stuff like that. So it was the first
And like
polygon Final Fantasy, so it had that going for it.
yeah, it was exclusive to that system, but it was just like if you say anime to certain people, they may be
Yeah.
able to list like a handful of things, and Dragon Ball Z might be one of them, just because it was like,
Yeah.
oh, I remember my kid in the '90s fucking screaming at the TV, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
uh, it is interesting though how close to Z the very like end of Dragon Ball gets when it's adult,
Okay.
like just grown up boy Goku fighting Piccolo.
Because I mean, in the manga, it just kept going, right? It didn't change or
Did
anything.
it? Did
It
it?
uh, no,
Did it just go
it was always
straight
just
from
Dragon
like
Ball. Yep, it was
straight
always called
from
Dragon Ball. The Z thing was for TV,
yeah, but I
essentially.
mean, so the public in publishing, it just went from
Mhm.
like the end of him fighting, uh, Demon King Piccolo in the Budokai tournament to like the shit with Raditz.
Well, no, it went from him fighting Piccolo Junior in the World Tournament
Yeah, that's
to
well, that's
that.
what I meant. Like, you know,
Yeah, yep. It went. I mean, like, I don't
that's
know if there was a
crazy.
break, but like, yeah, it went directly
Oh my god,
from that to that, pretty much.
can you imagine being? Because in my
I don't know if
mind,
I don't know if there's any like if he took any break or anything between. Mangaka aren't really known for their breaks,
mm,
but like,
sure.
um, but I know like yeah, the title differentiation um was solely for TV, and it just kind of rolled into a thing. It just rolled into the like right after, you know.
I guess I never knew any different, but like from
Yeah.
my
Oh yeah.
understanding, there was always a somewhat an undetermined amount of a break between. But
Yeah.
I can't imagine being a reader at the time and being like, hey, this has been like a interesting like journey to the West, fight kind of like story that we've been going through. And all of a sudden it's like, oh motherfucker, we're dealing with aliens now and power levels and
Right.
it like the
He
paradigm
kind of
shift.
expounded the. Yeah, he kind of like expounded as much as he could out of the Journey to the West stuff, and it was so successful they just kind of had to keep going.
Which is understandable. Yeah, like you're gonna run dry that well at some point.
Yeah.
And there are only so many vegetables out there to make characters about, which is a very funny gimmick that I appreciate because that humor is really funny. To me, it's just like, oh, what's gonna be this person's kind of vegetable moniker, you know?
Right.
We couldn't end with a complete meal. We had to keep coming back to carrots.
Yeah. But I'm excited for when this game actually comes. It's gonna drop later this month.
Oh, I thought it was already out. Okay.
No, it's not out yet. Soon, but yeah, it's a fun game. I am looking forward to all the different customizations that you can do, and I'm looking forward to maybe just exploring the world of Sandland.
Mm-hmm.
It's very Mad Max reminiscent.
Yeah.
I like that aspect of it. I like customization. I like the combat. I didn't really show off it too much, but yeah, Beelzebub's little fighting mechanics are kind of cool.
Yeah. So,
And
can you directly control Rao or Thief in the like on foot combat, or
not on
do
foot,
you
but
just
I
like
can tell them to do stuff. Like I can
yeah, issue orders and
vehicle like Rao can do vehicle warfare, so he can jump into his own thing and do some like
So,
cover shooting.
hey Wilson,
yes.
for perspective, volume 16 of the original Tankobon for Dragon Ball, which is the final one for what we call Dragon Ball,
Mhm.
was released February 1989, and then the first volume for what we call Dragon Ball Z, the first like Tankobon collected edition of that, was released in May of 1989.
Jesus Christ! Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's insane. But then he kept momentum going and like kept
Yep.
publishing all the way through what we called the end of like the run of Z.
Yep.
Good lord, man. Yeah. Well,
Right.
like you were saying, Tyler. Like it's like it is exciting that this is coming out. It is exciting that like the the works and just the general creative spirit of Akira Toriyama continues to live on because this is definitely not something that is super mainstream, I would say,
No,
of his works. Like I
not at all.
remember
Yeah.
I remember reading the first chapter when it came out
Hmm.
in whatever issue of
Shonen Jump.
Shonen Jump that they like,
Yep.
published that first issue, that first chapter as a preview and um
It was
like
2003 here when
so
that came out.
and that the only reason that I came across that is because I was directly involved in reading, that. So like
Yep.
it just I can it makes when you brought up like you're glad that this is coming out. It made me think like I don't doubt that there will be another Akira Toriyama video game that will be made that's not going to be Dragon Ball. And I wonder what that might be.
Well, I mean, so the stuff he did. I mean, there's a few things that like pre Dragon Ball. Well, so like he did a bunch of like one shots and short things, and then he did Doctor Slump, which was his first popular manga, and that ran for a few years. And then he started after that ended. Then he did Dragon Ball. That ran from 84 to 95 for like 11 years. And then he did Sandland in like 2000 or whatever it was, 99, 90, whatever it was, and like that's it. I mean, and then like Super, you know what I mean? So that's it. Unless they do like try to do some new Doctor Slump thing, or like adapt some one shot or something he did fucking 40 years ago that nobody knows about. This is,
Hmm.
it's about it
Yeah,
for
I
Toriyama.
suppose. I
So,
guess I didn't know that it was only just that. It just
yeah.
Well, I
I
guess
mean,
you
because
could
I know
like
he was involved in like more stuff than that, but
yeah, like
he was,
Dragon Quest and things like that, but like he never really made content based around
well,
that, really.
and part of the thing is, um, mangaka, unlike, a lot of your American comic books and whatnot, they own all their shit. Um, so like he's involved in, all the certain decisions and stuff as far as, I'm sure he has people, and I'm sure, some of that stuff, whatever. But like he's, so he'd be involved in a lot of Dragon Ball stuff that wasn't, the manga. Um, as far as like merchandise, like giving okays on certain things, and but yeah, like the various merchandise and other stuff that that property pertains to, and that would be for any one of his properties too, right? So Sandland as well. Obviously, he must have, you know, decided to do all this at one shot. You know what I mean? I
I,
don't know.
I love
I
how
don't know what it was. If it's a 25th anniversary, maybe or something, but
yeah, I'm not sure. I like how when you were driving on the motorcycle, the other two were driving in the little golf cart behind you.
Yeah.
That's a really nice touch.
so yeah,
Also,
like not
when you were in
even
the
it's not
tank,
even 25th anniversary. It was uh 24 years ago. So yeah, I don't know.
close enough though, I guess.
Yeah, and he was working heavily on that the new Dragon Ball animated series that's coming out, Dragon Ball Daima. He's heavily involved in that. So that's all new concept, new story, nothing from the manga. Um, so that'll be probably the final thing that comes out that he worked on heavily, you know. Because yeah, we've got all the Sandland stuff out or close to out, and the last chapter of Super that he was involved with is out, um, which is a very suitable one that is kind of will kind of tug at your heartstrings a little bit, and then
Oh,
yeah, and then so yeah, and then Daima will probably be, yeah, the last thing that he was like heavily involved with come out.
you
That's
know,
maybe this year at some point.
I am kind of tickled just thinking about like at least the ones that I'm aware of. I am sure that there are more names that could be on this like hypothetical list. But I'm just thinking about the creatives that have passed um, from Japanese culture that can like get together and like drink some sake or smoke cigarettes together in the afterlife and like
Yeah,
got motherfuckers like Akira Toriyama, Ishiro Honda, uh,
yeah.
Mira,
Mira,
um, who else? Like
fucking
even like
Tezuka, fucking
yeah, yeah, Ifukube. Uh,
yeah,
like there's just so many people who can just sit around and be like, just like I can imagine like Ishiro Honda or certain people appreciating other people's work that came after them that they like just like watched their career and be like, hi,
right.
from the afterlife smoking their cigarettes, like nodding slowly, just hi, approving, waiting for them to join to be like, you did good, son.
Yeah, good.
Well, yeah, if you guys have anything else to say, you can. But that's the demo, and that's our discussion really on Sandland. I'm really looking forward to diving into the anime whenever that drops on like Disney Plus.
It's out now. It's out now,
Oh,
so
it's
you
a
can.
okay, cool.
Yeah,
Um,
Looks like the game looks like fun. Anime, I'm sure is going to be fun. I'm going to check that out. It's on Disney Plus, you said?
yep.
I'm going to check that out.
so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this little discussion on Sandland. Beelzebub, Rao, Thief, our mech, our
Yeah,
tank, our motorcycle. Yeah, this
Our neck, our back.
everything. So yeah, that's us. Farewell, everybody.
My neck, my back, my row, and my thief.
Yep.
And my bub.